Today, I want to tell you about Margaret. For 11 years, Margaret had been the reliable one at her firm, the associate who never missed a deadline, never made a scene, never got invited to the room where things actually happened. This year, for the first time, she was invited to the partners' dinner. A quiet, unadvertised gathering at a private club held 4 times a year, where the real decisions about who moves up get made over dessert, not in the boardroom. She told me afterward she spent more time worrying about which fork to use than preparing her actual talking points. She watched the other women at the table, the ones who'd clearly been doing this their whole lives, and felt like she was performing a language she'd never been taught. Halfway through the meal, the club's longtime maitre d', a man who has quietly observed 3 decades of power dinners, refilled her water and said something she wrote down the moment she got home. The people who run rooms are never the loudest ones at the table. They are the ones whose hands are the calmest. Margaret didn't get promoted because of what she said that night. She got remembered because of how she sat. She went home, found a checklist a friend had sent her months earlier, and started with the smallest habit on it, then the next. Before I walk you through the 12 habits that changed things for her, I want to give you something, a free guide called the Elegant Morning Routine Checklist. 12 small rituals timeless women use before 9 a.m. It's free, it takes 4 minutes, and the link is right below this video, or scan the QR code on your screen. Everything we're about to walk through builds on it. Let's get into it. 1. The napkin silence. Here's the first thing Margaret wasn't doing. She reached for her napkin the second she sat down, out of nerves more than habit, before anyone else at the table had moved. The fix was almost embarrassingly simple. Wait, watch the host. The napkin goes on your lap only once theirs does. This is the difference between a woman who looks like a guest and a woman who looks like she belongs. It's not about the napkin, it's about the pause. Margaret practiced it at her very next meal, alone, at home, with no one watching, and said the strange part wasn't how it looked. It was how much calmer she felt 3 seconds in, before she'd even picked up a fork. Patience, worn quietly, reads as authority before a single word is spoken. 2. Waiting for the table. Margaret's second habit, or lack of one, was pacing. She used to eat the moment her plate landed, every time, without thinking twice about it. The fix. Wait until everyone at the table has been served, host included, no matter how hungry you are. This signals patience toward the group over hunger toward yourself, and it is one of the fastest ways a room quietly reads self-command. Margaret held her fork for 4 full minutes at that partner's dinner. She was the only one who did. She was also the only associate asked to speak first at the follow-up meeting the next week. This is exactly the kind of specificity I built into the Undeniable's complete system, the full blueprint behind everything I teach here. It's a 7-part curriculum on presence, first impressions, social intelligence, and wellness for women who are decided about this chapter of their lives. If today's video resonates, that system goes much deeper. It's in the description box, or scan the QR code on your screen. Number 3, the resting position. This one was harder for Margaret to notice on her own. Mid-conversation, her fork and knife would drift into a careless scatter across the plate every time she paused to speak. The fix. Rest them together, at a soft angle, forming a gentle V, every single time you pause. It signals to the table and to the staff that you know this room even if it's your first time in it. Margaret began practicing it alone at her kitchen counter. No audience, just repetition. She said it felt strange at first, like rehearsing a line before she believed it. Within a few weeks, it stopped feeling like performance and started feeling like the way her hands simply moved now. 4. The stem, never the bowl. Margaret had held wine glasses by the bowl her entire adult life, out of habit, never once thinking about it, until she watched the woman beside her that night hold hers by the stem without effort. The fix. Hold the glass by the stem always, keeping the wine at temperature and your hand out of the picture. This one small adjustment is one of the fastest signals of social fluency a room registers, often before a word is spoken. Margaret switched her grip the very next day. Within a month, a colleague told her, unprompted, that she'd always looked like she knew what she was doing at dinners. She hadn't. Not until she started practicing what she'd seen. 5. Right, always right. Later that same week, Margaret reached across a lunch table for the bread basket instead of asking for it to be passed. Nobody said anything, but she caught a flicker of a glance from the woman across from her, and it stayed with her all afternoon. The fix. Dishes moved to the right, always, never reached across. It signals an awareness of the table as shared space, not personal territory, a habit so small it's almost invisible, until the one time it isn't. Margaret has not reached across a table since. She says it's the habit she thinks about the least and corrects the fastest, because the memory of that glance never fully left her. 6. One bite, not the whole plate. Margaret used to cut her entire meal into pieces the moment it arrived, a habit left over from years of eating fast between meetings. The fix. Cut only what you're about to eat, one piece at a time, nothing more. It signals restraint and presence instead of urgency. And it is one of the clearest ways a room reads someone as unhurried without a single word exchanged. A client once told Margaret gently that she ate like she was always thinking 2 steps ahead. She changed the habit that same week. She says it's the one that changed how she felt at every table, not just how others perceived her, a small discipline that quieted something in her before it ever reached the room. 7. Elbows down, wrists soft. Margaret admitted she had never once thought about her elbows until she saw a photograph from that partner's dinner, shoulders forward, elbows braced on the table, the posture of someone bracing rather than belonging. The fix. Elbows off the table, wrists resting lightly at its edge. It signals openness without collapse, neither guarded nor sprawled. Margaret practiced it at her own kitchen table until it became automatic, no longer something she had to remember. She told me the strangest part wasn't how she looked in the next photograph. It was how much steadier she felt walking into the meeting that followed it, as if the posture had quietly reset something else entirely. 8. The finished signal. When Margaret finished eating, she used to leave her utensils wherever they landed, crossed, scattered, sometimes still half on the tablecloth, giving the table no clear sign. The fix, fork over knife, resting diagonally at the 4 o'clock position every time. This tells the room and the staff that you're finished without a single word, and it signals a decisiveness most people never think to display. The first time Margaret did it correctly at a client dinner, a server cleared her plate without a word exchanged, and she said she felt, for the first time at that table, entirely fluent in a room she used to feel borrowed in. 9. The closed mouth. Margaret once watched a colleague lose an entire pitch mid-sentence, gesturing with a fork in hand, speaking before swallowing, never once noticing the room's energy shift around her. The fix. Never speak with food in your mouth, and never gesture with a utensil while talking. It signals control over impulse, which a room unconsciously extends to control over judgment. Margaret has never forgotten watching that pitch fall apart over something so small. She tells the story now too, quietly, without naming anyone, the way the best warnings are always passed along, one woman to the next, until the habit sticks. 10. The bread ritual. Back at the club that night, Margaret watched the woman beside her tear her bread by hand, never reaching for a knife, buttering only the piece she was about to eat. The fix. Break bread by hand and butter one small piece at a time, never the whole slice at once. It looked unhurried in a way Margaret envied immediately. She began doing it herself the very next morning, alone at her kitchen counter, no one to notice but her. She said that was the moment she realized elegance was never meant to be witnessed to count. It was meant to be practiced until it simply became who she was, whether or not anyone was watching. 11. The eye contact. Thank you, Margaret used to thank hosts and servers with her eyes down, focused on her plate instead of the person in front of her, a habit she never once questioned until that dinner. The fix. Make direct eye contact every time you say thank you, without exception. It signals presence instead of performance, and it is remembered longer than the words themselves. Margaret started practicing it with everyone, servers, colleagues, the woman who held the elevator. She says people remember her longer now, not because she says more, but because she's finally looking at them when she says anything at all. 12. The exit. When the partner's dinner ended, Margaret pushed her chair in quietly, set her napkin loosely beside her plate, and left the table without announcing it to the room. The fix: leave the way you arrived, quietly, deliberately, without a performance of your departure. She didn't know, walking out that night, that it was the detail the Madre would mention to her months later as the one that told him everything. How a woman leaves a room, he said, is remembered longer than how she enters it. Margaret has never forgotten that. Neither, now, will you. Here's what all 12 of these had in common for Margaret. None of them were about impressing anyone at the table, and none of them needed a special occasion to practice. Each one was a small, private decision, repeated until it stopped being a technique and simply became how she moved through a room. She wasn't unrefined before. She was just untrained. And the moment she started training herself, the room started remembering her. If you want the complete blueprint behind these 12 habits and dozens more, covering presence, first impressions, social intelligence, and wellness as a full system rather than a checklist, that's exactly what the Undeniable's complete system is. And I don't just want to tell you it works. One woman who picked up our free Elegant morning routine checklist came back and told us, in her own words, that she loved it and was genuinely thankful she found it. That's not a paid actor. That's not a script. That's someone who tried the first small step and felt it change something. Here's your assignment. Over the next 7 days, choose 2 habits from this list. Just 2, and practice them without fail every single day. Then come back and tell me, I practiced habit and habit. Tell me what shifted. Comment below or send me an email. I read every one. If this found you today, subscribe because I have so much more to walk through with you. Until next time, to every woman watching, you are not here by accident. You are an undeniable. Act like it. Isabel.